Drum roll, please. Welcome to the first episode of Orange Juice, news and notes from around the world of Insoles. I am one of your hosts today, and moving forward on the podcast, Owen Kenoy. I am the day-to-day operations manager with Orange Insoles and have a lot of excitement and insight around what we do and our mission. And I'm also joined by Marsha. Over to you.
Hey, good morning, afternoon, or evening, however you're listening to us. Marsha Kenoy here and co-founder of Orange Insoles, and thank you for taking time out to listen to our conversation here. We are super thrilled to be bringing this to you on a regular basis, and we have so many fun topics that we're excited to talk about. Thank you.
Absolutely. And before we hop into that, we did just want to kind of highlight the business and why we chose to launch a podcast. So for me personally, I wanted to get the podcast up and running because I believe we have so much information that is going to help people in their day-to-day lives, and they might not even realize how simple a quick change or a little tip could really change everything. And what I mean is, we get stories about someone who has worked in a factory for 20 plus years and has had chronic back pain. But they heard about our product, started putting it in their shoes, and then all of a sudden, their words, not mine, their back pain has gone away. And they are able to work throughout the day much easier. So hopefully we can bring some of that to you as well throughout the storytelling. Topics are going to be a variety, but typically things related to insoles, health and wellness, and just overall like exercise, physical activity, and being your best self.
I think the only thing I would add is that we have over 500 articles that we have published through Orange Insoles platform, through our Orange Juice platform, our newsletter. And we now realize that the world out there also listens to podcasts. So we're going to take these topics that we've been talking about for the last 12 years through Orange Insoles, and we're going to bring them to life through a podcast. And this is a mother-son podcast as well. So, and we have our daughter publishing it. So I'm sure you'll hear a little poking and fun as our family business comes to life as well through this podcast. But to Owen's point, we're really proud of like the feedback we get and how it's changed people's lives. So we're going to bring those little tips that people have told us, and hopefully we can make a difference in your world through orange juice. So perfect.
Well said. On that note, our first topic that we're going to hop into, just given the time of year, is New Year's goals and making attainable and achievable goals. So, Marsha, what is your New Year's goal?
Well, I'm being truthful, Owen. I don't set New Year's goals. So this was when I was told about this topic today, I was like, yeah, no, I'm the person who will maybe be with friends and set the goal to be part of the conversation, but I'm not really good at following it. However, as I thought about it and I was reading up on the topic, I realized I guess I do the goal. And one of them that I do is I'm mindful of when I weigh in every morning. I go to my coffee machine and I have a notebook there. So I'm held accountable because I know I'm getting coffee in the morning. So can't stop me there. And next to it, I have a little recording that I write down like my weight and water percentage that day. And I guess it's like, I think back, it's like I am holding myself accountable for a weight goal each day. And I think having it by the coffee pot and it's not making me go out of my way to have to make this hard, I do that. So I'm going to keep doing that next year. And then I think the other thing might be is just trying to slow down and read a book or listen to a podcast. I don't slow down enough and do that. And when I say listen to a podcast, not while I'm driving, like really be mindful and sit down and find a podcast and listen to a few a week, especially since we're starting this now. I feel a little more accountable to make sure we're bringing the best platform forward. So how about you, Owen? What are you thinking?
Well, I'll tell you my goals, but you did share a lot of great info that I want to maybe just dive into a little bit. So you said you don't set goals, or you aren't overly intentional in like setting these things. Why do you think that is? You kind of walk through like what you do, which is kind of the smaller day to day tasks to keep you on course. But like, what is it about setting goals that you don't necessarily, uh, I guess, like go after or feel really inspired about?
Yeah, I think it's more about why do you have to do it January 1? I'm one more about I just set it when I need to do it, if that makes sense. So in the past, I have set goals January 1. It just happened to be timing of I wanted to run a half marathon. And the program I signed up for happened to just start January 3rd. So I was like, oh, this is my new year goal is to get in this program. But the program only lasts 6 months. It didn't get me to 12 months. But I do believe you have to make changes. So I gave up Diet Coke once, but I didn't do it at the beginning of the year. I did it midway through because I knew I was addicted to Diet Coke. I had a pyramid can going on my desk, like, I was drinking it way too much. So, I just think I'm not against setting goals at all or sticking to them. I just don't always do a great job of starting January 1, 2025. This is my goal of the year, but I'm gonna take a look at it differently this year. But after I hear your goals, so I feel like you might motivate me to set something. I don't know.
Well, do you consider yourself driven?
Do you consider me driven?
Yeah, I do. So I think that goes into like the goal setting and the New Year's goals, right? Like you're a driven person. Each day
Yeah.
you're getting up and trying to, make the most of your
Kick
day,
ass.
life, where, yeah, you're
Yeah.
trying to kick ass. So
Yeah. Yeah.
with that said, it's
Real.
not like you were saying you're gonna set all these new goals just because January is rolling around. You're attacking them every day. So
That's it. Thank you for phrasing that better. But I'm very competitive and I'm not waiting till January 1. If there's some opportunity out there to get some ass kicking going, then that's what I'm gonna be doing. So, but yes, yeah. See, Owen, you
um
good job.
and then I know you want to hear my goals, but we're still talking about you. So
Okay.
I also like to build some anticipation. So everybody's really going to be
Well,
pumped to hear my
I
answer.
wanna know your goals. Okay, go.
The other thing you mentioned was you wanted to read a book or podcast. You're like, oh gosh, where is he going?
Okay, go ahead.
So is there a way you can make that a smart goal?
A smart goal?
Specific. So for the audience, specific, um, measurable, something that
Yeah,
you can say yes or no, it happened. uh,
yeah.
Attainable. So is it
Question
something
mark.
that is actually realistic and there's a
Okay.
shot of happening? Relevant. So is it going to actually be a net positive if you complete the goal? And then time bound. So I mean, you to help you out, time bound. Obviously, you already mentioned you wanted to start like this year, and it's just throughout the year. So that's kind of your deal. Specific, you said you wanted to watch or read a podcast. How long do you envision yourself doing this each day or each week or every other week? How long do you envision this taking?
Well, that's a really good point. I think for me, my challenge comes as I travel a lot. So I don't have a routine because I'm not always in the same office. I have 3 different offices that I travel to. So a lot of it comes down to if you have a kind of disruptive routine like that, how do you make it a routine? And I think that's what I'm trying to think through. So I think for me, if I can do 2 podcasts a week, be mindful, set time because that's something I don't have to carry a book and remember to put the book in my luggage or in my briefcase. Like, I like the whole podcast thing. So I think for me, I'm leaning towards the podcast that I just say I have a meeting, shut it all down, and then, put this podcast in and be mindful. So my kind of goal or smart goal would be to try to listen to 2 30-minute podcasts a week and start there and see if I can do that. And maybe it'll go down to 1 or maybe it'll go to 3, and I say 30 minutes because that's really I feel like I can do that. I can't do hour podcasts, but I feel like I could block in the 30 minutes. If my business meeting got done short or whatever, it's like easy to pop a 30-minute window. That's what I'm thinking. Did I miss anything about And I want to try it for 3 months. I'm not trying to mark out 12 months. I'm going to try it for 3 months and see if it is relevant to me and makes sense. Am I learning, that? And I'll say anyone out there who has some good podcasts that you're like, gotta listen to this one. Please message us and tell me because that would be
Drop
helpful
them in
too.
the
I don't want to
comments.
investigate that. What's that?
Drop them in the comments.
Drop them in the comments. This is where I need help. So, and I'll say this, I'm a 55-year-old who's super competitive, loves sports, loves football, loves basketball, like all that kind of stuff. I love to hear athletes talk, and I'm energized around athletes or entrepreneurs or just people out in the world kicking ass. I love hearing real stories. So that's where I'm going to start with if you have podcasts around that. And I'm trying to learn to be healthy on the cooking front. So if you've got some good like cooking ones, I'm not trying to eat tofu. Like, don't give me that shit. I'm trying to like just eat good balanced foods. Give me some good ideas. So, all right. Sorry, Owen. I'm going on a tangent. Throw it in the comment box.
So
That's
to
what I
keep you on track, your goal is to listen to 2 30-minute podcasts each
Yep.
week, or spend 30 minutes twice a week listening to some sort of podcast for the year.
Yep.
Because you think that'll help you stay more grounded and just gain a greater perspective on a variety of things.
And I want to learn.
Right.
There's so much going on out there. Like we want to grow Orange Insoles. We want to grow our business and we can't do it. We want to learn from the outside. We want to hear from people. So what a better way to do it through some kind of platform.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll dive into mine now. I won't even make you pry anymore. But
Oh, drum roll again. Go.
so I mean, really, I think the main thing is just like every day being intentional on like my health and wellness. So for me, I'm a dad of 1 right now, very soon to be dad of 2. I watch Harper, my daughter, during the day, and also work on the business. My wife's a nurse. She works 3 days a week, and this is just a whole lowdown. But as you can see, there's a lot going on. So when she's not working, I'm, full-time dad duty, etc. So it's very easy to just like, skip breakfast or not make time to get outside and get some fresh air or really just take care of yourself. So that was kind of my goal. But then you look at it, I mean, that's not a smart goal based on what we talked about. So I've been really intentional about trying to look at like, okay, well, what is adding up to like strong health and wellness, or like what are the things that I need to do each day to feel good about myself? And this is going to be obviously a little individual to everyone because everyone's not the same, but I came up with a list of things that I could do every day. And if I'm doing those, I feel like I'm on track for, like to be in good shape, health and wellness wise. So to share them with you.
Wait, how many do you have? Just so I can like mentally see if I need to take notes or not. Well, I can
8.
remember 8 of them. Okay, we got
Does
Owen's
that sound
top
like a
8.
lot?
It's okay. It depends. Owen's top 8 smart objectives for 2025. Okay, go. 1.
The first one is to eat 3 full meals. So like for me, I skip breakfast. Like that's the one that is very easy for me. And I find by lunch, like I'm drained, not sharp. Like I feel like I just like really push all morning. And it's like there's another half of the day. And I found when I eat more, especially in the morning and fuel my body and make it an all day event, not just kind of putting it off until later when I have more time. I feel a
Mhm.
lot better.
Okay.
Doing something active, so that could be a variety of things and very simple. Like it just snowed, so I actually need to go shovel our driveway. And by the end of that, I'm always sweaty and my heart rate's up. That sort of thing. It's actually pretty difficult if you live in Michigan, that is, or Minnesota, the UP, Wisconsin. So doing something active, it can be a lot of different things. It doesn't have to be like necessarily doing a workout. Um,
And your dog, right, Owen?
okay, relax.
Oh, is that coming up?
Well, yeah, I guess I'll jump to that. Separate from that, I also want to take the dogs on a walk every day. I have 2 dogs.
Okay.
Yes, it helps me to get my body moving, but also like I just see how much they appreciate getting out and moving. And when it's later in the day, like around dinner time or after dinner, like if they're just sitting there wagging their tail, wanting to play, like I just feel bad about that. And usually when I take them for a walk, like that's a non-issue. Um, Want to do one chore other than just like cleaning the kitchen or picking up, like be very specific, something you might not just do on a regular basis. Hopefully everyone like cleans their kitchen like as they make food and stuff. I don't know, like I don't really count that specifically,
I'm
but
sure there are people who do not clean their kitchen. That could be a big chore. Yeah.
so like for example, I've been staring at like this pile of laundry. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna fold all of this today and get it put away. So that'll be one thing that at least is off my plate. And then sure enough, you do that every day and you're in a lot better shape than you were. Um, the other thing is spending 30 minutes no phone with Harper. So for me, this is actually really hard just because like I always get notifications. I literally just saw my phone light up and I got a notification. And I wanted to look at it. But really just being intentional and like spending that time with her and focusing on her and not working, not trying to see what's going on right now with fantasy football, that sort of stuff, and just slow down and be with her because that's when I'm really the happiest is when I'm just spending time with her. She's a very happy toddler and she's walking and learning words and all that. Um, there's three other things I won't spend much time on. One is shower every single day, rinse kind of the sweat, the grime, the dirt, the day away, whether that's in the beginning of the day or at the end of the day or obviously in the middle. But taking a shower, pray every single day. I usually just like to list what I'm thankful for more than anything when I pray. And then there's a passage called Man in the Arena by Theodore Roosevelt. Tom Brady really likes it. And I read that every day to myself as well, or try to. So I'm not perfect on all this stuff, but really the gist of that, Man in the Arena, definitely look it up. But basically, it's more admirable to put yourself in the fight every day and be the man in the arena actually trying than to be the one watching and judging and not acting. So, win, lose, tie, at least you're trying opposed to just, taking inaction.
Is that
Um,
like is that an app, Owen? Is it like a daily like podcast or something that they put out under this platform? Or is it just the
no,
content?
it's literally just one, it's just a quote. Like
Oh,
I
okay.
almost just need to get like a picture framed of this quote so I can just go read it. But it's like
Got
kind of
it.
long. So I don't
Got
just
it.
have it memorized
Got it. Got it. Got it.
yet.
Awesome. Got it.
So yeah, I mean that's kind of how I broke it down. Obviously, there's a lot of like smaller goals and whatnot, but that's usually what I do. Like even with work, it's like okay, uh, we just have Black Friday and we have all these Black Friday campaigns going on. We want to make sure everything's consistent for our only sale of the year. Super important. But I wasn't just going to do that all in like one day, 1 hour, and just sit down until it's done. So that's where just like breaking it out and like taking it chunk by chunk just helps achieve that bigger goal.
Got it. All right. So you have breakfast, something active, which I love the snow shovel because right now I'm looking at 3 inches got dumped. We all are, by the way, a Michigan-based company, so you'll hear us talk about that. But we also have an office in Florida, so we'll talk about sunshine as well. So walking dogs every day, which it could be under active, but it's also just making them happy. And then you were going to do a chore a day beyond cleaning your kitchen. And he's right. I've been to his house. Obviously, he's my son, and his kitchen's always clean. And then you said 30 minutes, no phone, focusing on Harper, and you've got a new little baby coming in the next 4 weeks. So that'll be two to focus on. And then shower every day and pray every day. And then kind of focus on this quote, man in the arena. Like, how can you bring that to life? I love
Yeah.
it. These are awesome. It's a lot. I will say a lot of times they'll say don't have 8 things because you might not be able to keep them going, but yours are so broken down and so simple. I feel like I'm very convinced that you've thought through this and this is what you're gonna knock out. So I love it. Awesome. Now I need to come up with something. So maybe I will on the next podcast. Start with
Yeah, we'll
the
check back on your SMART goals.
yeah, I think I have a SMART goal though. I do like the podcast.
Yeah, so obviously you can take these examples and apply it yourself as you see fit, but really, just like the man in the arena quote, like the biggest thing is just taking action, and doing something. Uh, it's not going to be perfect. My list, uh, it's right now, like to be very honest, it's like 50-50. Some days I do it all, some days I don't, but at least I know it's there and can try and go from there. So
Awesome.
hopefully that helps, just like setting goals going into the new year. I know it is a time where a lot of people do actually stop and realign and see what they can do to improve and that sort of thing. So hopefully just keeping these tips in mind are really going to help.
All right. So our next podcast is going to be around if you were setting a health goal or a physical, like let's go running goal. Our next podcast is going to be around, just preventative injuries. Because when you start going to work out aggressively and your body's like, hey, I'm not used to what you're trying to do to me here. We'll talk about injuries and ways to prevent those type of things. So thank you for joining us.
You can listen to us anywhere you get your podcasts. And if you want to watch, check us out on YouTube.